the DCEU has changed quite a bit. I don't know if you know, but it's not exactly connected in the way we probably think now. This is the DCEU Explained 2021. So as you know, the DCEU essentially started in 2013 with Man of Steel, then with Batman v Superman, as Zack Snyder was actually trying to make a 5-film part arc revolving around the Man of Steel. So you got Man of Steel, BVS, then he would have eventually led to Justice League 1, 2, and 3. Of course that did not happen, but we'll get there. After Batman v Superman, it seemed like the studio wanted to expand it into another Marvel Cinematic Universe, which was pretty successful, I gotta say. Kevin Feige really expanded that Marvel Cinematic Universe into one cohesive storyline. Now the difficulty of this was that Zack Snyder wanted his own little contained storyline, kind of like Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy. Then something happened. Geoff Johns and John Berg showed up and pretty much took over the DCEU. But Zack Snyder was kind of shepherding the spin-offs from his 5-film arc as well, including Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Rick Famuyiwa's The Flash, and also Ben Affleck's Batman. But Geoff Johns and John Berg decided to take it a little bit further. Instead of sitting on their hindquarters and waiting to see if this universe would actually come out to as big as the MCU, they decided to meddle creatively and influence the directors that oversaw these other projects. Yeah, so they messed with David Ayer's Suicide Squad, made it a little bit more funny, made it more happier, more comedic, lighter tone, a bit of Wonder Woman as well, but it wasn't until the success of Wonder Woman where the studio really put all their faith into Geoff Johns and John Berg to take care of the entire cinematic universe. The problem was Justice League was already in production. It was already being made. So that was the first one they were going to definitely try to change as much as possible. And ultimately, we ended up with, Justice League in 2017. Oh. Sorry, I almost threw up in my mouth. But after the abysmal, critical, and really financial failure of the 2017 Justice League, Geoff Johns and John Berg were out. However, when Aquaman came out, James Wan actually got the DCEU back into gear in a kind of way, because that made $1 billion plus. Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada are now the people overseeing the DCEU. Walter Hamada, stemming from New Line Cinema, brought some of those directors over, including David F. Sandberg, and they were able to make Shazam. Although, financially not as successful as the beginning of the DCU in terms of Man of Steel, BVS, and Wonder Woman, or even Suicide Squad, it still made a decent amount. Then they were also responsible for Birds of Prey as well, so that came out, critically okay, but financially not that good. Now, in the midst of all this was Matt Reeves' The Batman, which was greenlit from the previous regime of Geoff Johns and John Berg, although Matt Reeves did walk away once because he really wanted to make his own Batman story. It kind of like a one-off or a side story, kind of like Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. In a way, he didn't really want it to connect to the DCU itself. He didn't want Ben Affleck's Batman as part of his movie. But Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich came in and adopted that project anyway. And with the sort of success of Shazam, $7 production, who headed the whole thing, which included Danny Garcia, Hiram Garcia, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself, they are kind of doing, I guess you could say, their own thing over on New Line Cinema. Yes, it's still overheaded by Walter Hamada's group, but essentially it's the $7 Productions little universe over on that side. Greg Berlanti, who is the producer for all the DCCW TV series, also is a pretty influential character, as he was brought on to actually shepherd some more series and spin-offs from the CW, including Green Lantern over on HBO Max. And with the help of Jim Lee, who kind of called it in, and let's get Grant Gustin and Ezra Miller on the same screen, because this is the point that we're trying to make. We want to make the multiverse. As you know, in DC properties, multiverse means many different Earths, alternate universes, parallel universes, meaning there's going to be multiple Supermans, multiple Batmans, multiple Flash. It does sound like a great idea for every director who wants to make their own thing and not having to worry about connecting to each other. And then when the Release the Snyder Cut campaign was successful for the last 3 or 4 years, Warner Media decided to release the Snyder Cut. And out came Zack Snyder's Justice League, going over to HBO Max. So, being Jim Lee, being the lover of all DC, it seemed like a great idea to do the multiverse, being that essential plan for the rest of the DC properties on screen. Now, where do we go from here? It seems like the only way I can see this is that there are possibly about 4 different universes here. The first one is easy. Anything that Greg Berlanti touches, that's pretty much his universe. That's his CW. Everything that stemmed from the Arrowverse and on after the Crisis on Infinite Earths. That means he's probably heading over Superman and Lois. He's doing things like Titans, Doom Patrol, and also the Green Lantern on HBO Max. Then you've got the movies. There is kind of like the side movies that don't connect to anything, and I would put Matt Reeves, the Batman, over there, also Todd Phillips, the Joker, as well. Then you got $7 production over on New Line Cinema, and the Garcias and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson trying to create their own little big budget DC properties with him as being the head honcho, Black Adam versus the Justice Society of America. Essentially his own little Justice League over on that side. Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada, what are they doing on the Warner Brothers side? Well, they got Wonder Woman 1984, which was something they adopted from the last regime of John Berg and Jeff Johns and also Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder. After that, they've greenlit Wonder Woman 3. They're also doing Aquaman 2. They're also going to be connecting the Flash movie. And then, of course, over on HBO Max, you got Zack Snyder and his Zack Snyder's Justice League, in which we all know there's supposed to be at least 2 more movies in that, and there's possible spin-off ideas that could stem from that, and that would be the Snyderverse over on HBO Max. But how I see it is who's greenlighting what. Now, I said Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada are in charge of DC films, movies, on any platform. When they greenlit James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, who greenlit the Peacemaker spin-off series? The interesting thing is, because Peacemaker and Gotham PD, Green Lantern on HBO Max, are spin-off series. The people who are responsible for greenlighting series, DC series, on HBO Max and an original, is actually going to be Sarah Aubrey and Casey Bloys. Although Casey Bloys reports to Sarah Aubrey, but you get what I mean. But so within fact, if we want the Snyderverse to continue on HBO Max, if it's done as a movie, they would have to go through Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada. But if they were done as a series or limited series, it would go through Sarah Aubrey and Casey Bloys. I think you know where I'm going with this. I think it's actually going to be easier to greenlight it as a series. Imagine Justice League Season 2 as a series, Justice League Season 3 as a series, and everything after that. It'd be easier going through Sarah Aubrey and Casey Bloys. Of course, Jason Kylar kind of controls the whole thing, so maybe Jason can just make Toby and Walter say yes. But it's still going to be hard creatively, as, you know, Walter and Toby don't exactly like the Snyderverse, which is confusing to me, because why don't you just leave that alone and start doing whatever you needed to do over at Warner Brothers, and which they are. The Flash is probably their biggest baby. From The Flash, that's probably going to be a multiverse expanding movie, meaning there's going to be branches of universes coming out of that. Which, right now, we know Michael Keaton is going to be playing Batman, in which, after the Flash movie, they could probably spin off to a Batman Beyond type movie for Michael Keaton. And Sasha Calle, who just got cast as a Supergirl in the Flash movie, will probably spin off to her own Supergirl movie as well. So there's many opportunities for Warner Brothers to expand that universe in their own way. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let me know your idea of what the DCE is, but this is how I see it right now. Thanks so much for watching. Like I said, if you absolutely love this daily dose of entertainment news and content, please click the like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time. Bye.